Happy Wednesday, everybody. Meteorologist Hunter Force here. Welcome to the Weather Desk. Happens every day, Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock on the Plus app. You know, we have a good few things to talk about today. We saw a lot of severe weather yesterday from New York all the way down through Ohio into Texas. And today that threat remains, especially for portions around Texas. They have a tornado threat. And even here in Hampton Roads, we don't have a high threat for severe weather, but we do have a level 1 out of a level 5 threat for this afternoon. So we'll be chatting about that as well. But also predicting severe weather. We're going to take a closer look at CAPE, or convective available potential energy, which is just a measurement meteorologists use to kind of see how strong these storms could be, how unstable the atmosphere is with that. It's also Rip Current Awareness Week, so something to keep in mind if you are heading to the beach. And of course, as we get closer and closer to summer and the water temperatures warm up and you hop into the ocean, you want to be aware of any rip currents, of course, that are happening. And it's also going to be talking about scanning tropical forests from space. So let's get started. First things first, the severe weather yesterday. There was a lot expanded all the way from New York down through Pennsylvania into Ohio, Missouri, Oklahoma, down into Texas. Right now, not seeing a whole bunch of severe weather, but there are a few warnings down in Oklahoma and Texas, and seeing some rain and some heavy rain from St. Louis down towards Oklahoma City and Wichita Falls down in Texas. So let's take a look at the severe weather from yesterday. Here are the storm reports all the way again from New York down through Pennsylvania into Ohio. It was just a really, really stormy day yesterday. Just a ton of storm damage. So let's take a look here down first in Texas, Wichita County. I believe actually this is Oklahoma. Thunderstorm wind gusts of 70 miles an hour. I was watching some of these on the radar yesterday, and some of these storms were just insanely strong. There was, I believe, a tornado around here yesterday, around Wichita Falls. Doesn't seem to be showing up here on the storm report, but that definitely, I believe, was there yesterday. But also a good amount of flooding going on in this area as well. But also up towards Springfield, Missouri. A lot of storms, some tornado reports here as well. An EF1 tornado beginning at 9 o'clock in the morning. So just not a great start to your day with an EF1 tornado. Had a length of 2.18 miles, so went pretty far, a width of 100 yards, and maximum sustained winds of about 90 miles per hour. So this tornado caused, damage to parts of a roof of a church and minor damages to other structures as well. And we're getting a good look at some of the damage caused by these storms. The first, again, in Missouri. Part of a roof at Worldwide Aircraft was peeled off by these strong winds. It's a business in Springfield, Missouri that maintains and repairs planes. The main terminal only suffered minor damage, but buildings like this have a long repair process ahead of them. And just north of Springfield, a tree came crashing down on a home. This one near Willard, Missouri. The man who lives next door says he's glad that despite all of the damage, everyone in the area is okay.
I just kept praying that it wouldn't get as bad as it finally got. You couldn't hardly see anything because it was so foggy. We feel fortunate, and our neighbors have a lot of damage, but they're all alive.
The storm snapped and uprooted trees all along this stretch of roadway. All right, over in Ohio, several areas woke up this morning to storm damage in the northeast part of the Buckeye State. These two homes were damaged by falling trees in New Philadelphia, just south of Akron. The ABC News affiliate says strong winds also ripped down a tennis fence at a high school just south of here. And the damage stretched further east into Pennsylvania as well. A large chunk of this Pittsburgh business roof collapsed last night. People in the Steel City also reported uprooted trees, damaged bus stops, and even a set of high school bleachers flipped on its side in a nearby town. Over 500,000 people were left without power throughout western Pennsylvania last night. As of this morning, 2 local power companies are reporting more than 400,000 customers are still in the dark. Crews are working on restoration right now as construction crews work to clean up the damage left behind. Jordan Chapa shows us more of the damage in South Pittsburgh.
Powerful thunderstorms in the Pittsburgh area left behind a mess on East Carson Street in the south side.
I just saw this roof just flying. I thought it was actually the front of a building.
Perry and Laura Sigismund, the owners of Perlora, were inside the furniture store when the roof of the new part of their building was ripped off. The couple said they let all of their employees go home before the bad weather rolled in, but they decided to ride out the storm.
I was astounded to see what was going on. There were cars, and I am so thankful and surprised that nobody got hurt. I mean, it is a miracle that nobody got hurt with all this flying debris.
Many people stopped to watch and take pictures as Pittsburgh Public Works cleared the huge pile of debris from the street. Luckily, the Sigismunds say there was no damage on the inside of the store.
No one got hurt. Our employees left early. Thank God I told them to get out of here. And everybody's safe. I mean, that's the ticket.
North for Sales resident Christy Jordan is also feeling grateful for her safety following the storms.
That's the first I could say I've been hit by a roof.
She was driving on Route 30 when the roof of Jordan's auto body came barreling at her car. Coincidentally, Jordan's brother-in-law owns the shop and her husband works inside. So the first thing she did was pull over to make sure everyone was okay.
They just heard like a banging noise, and then they thought it was just the dumpster here that knocked over. They didn't even realize that the roof came off until I come in and like, the roof is off.
Yeah, just some scary stuff there. It wasn't just Pennsylvania or Ohio. Again, these storms stretch all the way from New York down into Kentucky, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, and there's another chance of severe weather today as well. But let's take a look back at the storm reports. Here are the storm reports in Ohio yesterday, stretching across the entire state from Indiana through all of Ohio into Pennsylvania, even areas around West Virginia as well. The storm report here, 61 mile per hour wind gusts, a lot of tree damage, a lot of structural damage here in areas around Columbus, again, just south of Akron, and into portions of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Punxsutawney had a lot of reports there as well. Here's a look at some of the storm reports in Pennsylvania, a lot of them in areas around Pittsburgh, Foxburg, into State College, East Buffalo, Pennsylvania. This one, large tree limbs were down, 65 mile per hour wind gusts, and that stretched all the way up into portions of New York as well. Rome, New York. This storm that went through at 6 o'clock yesterday evening, right at rush hour, at Griffiths International Airport, 77 mile per hour wind gusts. So these were some hefty, strong storms. Not only did they have some strong wind within them, but also a lot of hail reports with these as well, just to the south of Rochester and to the east of Buffalo. Binghamton, New York, all the way close to Albany, New York, seeing some of these storms that just swept through yesterday. Here's a look at the severe weather for today. Right now, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in portions of South Oklahoma and North Texas as well. Right now, this does not include the city of Dallas, but I'm sure later this afternoon they're going to expand this watch to include areas around Fort Worth and Dallas. But you can see there's a lot of flash flood warnings out there right now because a lot of the rain has just been sitting over the same area since yesterday, from Oklahoma City down into Wichita Falls and just to the north of Dallas. And you're seeing some dark reds here indicating really heavy torrential rainfall, probably, maybe 1 inch to 2 inches per hour. But luckily, this system is moving rather quickly and you're not seeing, that super heavy rain over the same areas. It's kind of moving from west to east. So that's the good news there. But Oklahoma City, you guys have been kind of seeing persistent, heavyish type rain over the last couple of hours, and you will throughout the day today. Here's a look at what we could see in terms of severe weather for this afternoon. You'll notice portions of Texas, so down into Dallas, Texarkana, Little Rock, Arkansas, even St. Louis. But you'll notice over here, On the west coast or the east coast, Norfolk, Virginia, us, Hampton Roads, we have the chance to see a severe storm. It's not a big threat, but it is a level 1 threat out of a level 5. And the biggest threat with these storms would be gusty winds. That's really all we'd have to worry about today. That tornado threat and hail threat is very, very low. So when these storms do push through later this afternoon, a chance we could see some gusty winds with those. But over towards Texas, Dallas, you guys are in a level 3 threat out of a level 5 threat, and your tornado risk is pretty high for today. So downtown Dallas all the way towards Texarkana, Shreveport, definitely a good chance to see a few tornadoes today, and could even see some strong, maybe long-lived ones as well. Hail threat is also a bigger concern in this area, including Dallas, even up towards St. Louis. Some of the same areas yesterday that saw these severe storms have the chance to see them again, but definitely could see some 1 to 2 inch hail, especially here in this hatched area. So Dallas, Texarkana, Fort Worth, down into Austin, Waco, Texas. Luckily, Houston, though, this threat kind of stops just off towards your north. But as we get to the day tomorrow, still a threat of severe weather and a big threat as well, similar to what we saw yesterday, stretching all the way from New York down into Texas. So Dallas, Houston, Memphis, Cincinnati, this yellow portion here, that's a level 2 threat out of a level 5 threat for some severe storms. So definitely the chance to see hail, gusty winds, damaging winds, and a few tornadoes as well. Again, all the way from Erie, Pennsylvania, into Cincinnati, Nashville, Tennessee, Kentucky, Little Rock, Shreveport, Louisiana, down into Austin, Texas. So again, a lot of people under the gun, not only yesterday, not only today, but tomorrow once again. As we get into Friday, it's looking a little bit better. Still a chance to see some severe storms, but that threat is not nearly as big, and not as many people are expected to see that threat. Only in areas around central Texas and southern Oklahoma, Oklahoma City down into San Angelo, including just a tad of Dallas, Texas. But this is also just a level 1 threat out of level 5, so it's not a huge risk for severe weather on Friday. But again, that chance is there. Here's the flood potential, though, for Texas today. Dallas, a moderate potential to see some of those storms. They're not going to be, they're not going to be moving rather quickly over the next day or so. So that's why your flood threat is so high. And that expands all the way from Houston into Memphis and St. Louis, Wichita. The green area, that flood threat isn't as large, but the darker the color, the bigger the threat. So Dallas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Texarkana definitely has a big chance to see some flooding potential throughout the day today. But again, that severe weather threat has been going on since yesterday. It's going on today, even into tomorrow as well, and even Friday, the chance to see some severe weather. And whenever we track potential thunderstorms, there are a number of different measurements used to predict when and how strong a storm will be. One of them is known as CAPE. A couple of weeks ago, I looked into the measurement to break down into layman's terms. Here's what I found. When severe weather is on the way, CAPE is one of the many measurements meteorologists use to gather information on potential thunderstorm development. CAPE, which stands for Convective Available Potential Energy, refers to the energy available to fuel a developing thunderstorm and indicates how unstable the atmosphere is, measuring the energy available in the atmosphere for air to rise. When warm air is lighter than the cooler air around it, it wants to go up. And the greater the temperature difference between a parcel of air and the surrounding environment, the more energy there is for stronger updrafts, and eventually that warm air condenses into cloud formation. High CAPE values indicate a highly unstable atmosphere, leading to stronger updrafts, meaning that air parcels are more likely to rise and develop into thunderstorms. CAPE is expressed in joules per kilogram and can range from 0 to over 5,000. In general, CAPE values of less than 1,000 joules per kilogram represent weak instability, 1,000 to 2,500 moderate instability, 2,500 to 4,000 strong instability, and greater than 4,000 joules per kilogram, well, that's extreme instability. So remember, during any thunderstorm, no matter how strong, when thunder roars, go indoors. For 13 News Now, I'm meteorologist Hunter Forrest. Absolutely, when thunder roars, you gotta go indoors always. Lightning is extremely dangerous. It could travel 10 miles away from its parent thunderstorm. So you may not be, right under where, the storm is, but if you're closer than 10 miles, you still have that chance to be struck by lightning. It's extremely, extremely dangerous. And again, we have that chance for severe weather throughout the day today and into tomorrow, especially in portions of Texas, but also the chance to see flooding. We were looking at that just before that video of, the flooding concerns in areas around Texas. We also have the chance to see some flooding in portions of the Ohio Valley heading into tomorrow morning through Friday morning. This expands from Michigan all the way down into the Tennessee Valley in the south as well, over towards Houston and Louisiana. So a lot of the same areas under these threats day after day after day. Eventually, they'll get a little bit of a break as we head into Friday morning into Saturday morning, except for Texas. You guys over the next couple of days are going to be getting hit pretty hard. A lot of severe weather, a lot of flooding potential. This is Friday morning into Saturday morning, just south of Dallas. Has a bigger possibility to see some of this flooding just to the north of Houston. So Waco, Austin, Texas, San Angelo, you guys have the chance to see some flooding as we head into Friday morning and Saturday morning as well. And a marginal chance, maybe a slight chance for portions of New Mexico heading into Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee as well. But then things should start to get a bit better as we go through the weekend. Here's a look at our futurecast, though. Over the next couple of days, you'll notice down into Texas and Oklahoma, Missouri, a lot of strong, heavy rainfall possible as we go throughout the next couple of hours. That's going to continue to push down towards the south and east, bringing a lot of torrential rain and strong to severe storms in eastern Texas, including Dallas, Texarkana. Then that eventually pushes continuing off towards the east, and then we're going to see more severe weather heading into Thursday afternoon, stretching all the way again from the Ohio Valley down into the south, Alabama, Mississippi, down into Texas. You could see that line of storms really expanding from Ohio down through Tennessee into Louisiana and Texas. And then that's going to kind of diminish as we head into Friday. We could see a few isolated to scattered showers here heading into Friday afternoon and Friday evening, but not expecting, torrential amount of rain over the next couple of days. But those chances do certainly go up heading into the weekend around here, unfortunately. But here this afternoon and this morning looking absolutely beautiful. We are seeing good amount of blue skies here on our Thompson Creek Window Company sky view. It's warm. It's going to be a warm day. We're back into the 80s. We were back to the 80s yesterday. After a bit of a cooler start to our week, we were only in the lower 70s on Monday. But, things are looking pretty good over the next couple of days. Let's take a look and see what the temperature is at Norfolk International Airport right now. I'm guessing it's still going to be, it's right around 70 degrees. Winds out of the west-southwest at 15 miles per hour. When you get that southwest flow, that helps to bring up more of that warm air. So that's why we're kind of seeing these warmer than average temperatures as we go throughout the next couple of days. So it's going to be feeling closer to summer, especially as we get closer and closer to May. Of course, we're going to start to see those temperatures rising each and every day as our average temperature starts to get higher and higher. Also want to take a look at the marine forecast. Maybe we're heading off on the boat today. It's going to be a great day for it. Chesapeake Bay sitting at 62 degrees, so water's definitely getting warmer. Certainly not warm enough for myself yet, especially the Atlantic Ocean. 59 would be like taking a polar plunge. Winds out of the southwest to northwest, 15 to 20 knots, gusting to about 25. Looks like there's a small craft advisory as well, so you want to keep that in mind if you are going out on the boat later today. Waves 2 to 3 feet in both the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic Ocean as well. Low tide happened a couple hours ago at 6:01. High tide is at 11:54. Now, I know the water is a little bit chilly, so I'm sure not many people are going into the ocean just yet. but soon enough, it will be warm enough where a lot more people are going to be taking a dip into the ocean. And of course, that's always something you want to be careful about due to, of course, rip currents. And so let's take a live look at the coast of the Outer Banks right now. That looks amazing. I would love to be there I'd love to be out there right now. Some people going for a nice walk, some clear skies. This week actually marks the first ever Rip Current Awareness Week in coastal North and South Carolina. If you've watched 13 News Now in the past, you've probably heard us talk a lot about rip current risks along the East Coast, and that's for good reason. Rip currents are the top weather-related killer across the Carolinas. Meteorologist Taylor Stephenson has more on the efforts to protect beachgoers.
This week marks the first ever Rip Current Awareness Week for coastal North and South Carolina. This week's Rip Current educational topics include how rip currents form, escaping rip currents, and bystander problems. Rip current emergencies are a major problem in the coastal Carolinas. From 2000 to 2024, rip currents have been the #1 weather-related killer in the coastal Carolinas, with 192 deaths. The other 5 weather-related killers fall well behind rip currents. Tornado deaths had the second spot with 41 deaths. Within the same time frame, 25 people have died from flooding, 20 from lightning, and 16 from damaging winds. Interestingly, though, even though these communities are close to the coast, deaths related to tropical systems sit at the bottom of the list with 14 deaths. If you see anyone caught in a rip current, do not jump in to help them. Instead, alert a lifeguard or call 911. For 13 News Now, I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson.
Definitely some scary stuff there. Always getting caught in a rip current can be extremely scary, especially, if you're not the best swimmer. Definitely can have some issues. So let's talk about the rip current and how they kind of form. You have waves breaking near the shoreline. Water piles up between the breaking waves and the beach, and a strong, narrow current is flowing outward from the beach through the surf zone, just like that. And that's what can bring people way out to sea, is that narrow strip of that flowing current just getting blown back out to sea. Can reach speeds 1 to 2 feet per second, so you can get caught and get taken out extremely, extremely quickly. That's why it can take so many people off guard, because of how quickly these rip currents can move. Some have been measured up to 8 feet per second, which is just absolutely insane. And to fight it, or to get away, to break away from the rip current, you don't want to fight it. You don't want to cause yourself to get way too tired, and then you can't really put your hands up in the air anymore. You just want to you have to kind of let it take you out and do its thing. You don't want to fight against it. But if you can swim parallel to the shore, that's what you want to do to escape this. You just want to go either left or towards the right, swim parallel to the beach. Of course, something that you want to always know about if you are heading to the beach. Rip current risk today, though, isn't looking too bad. Moderate risk from Virginia Beach, just to the north of Kill Devil Hills, and around Hatteras as well. But around Kill Devil Hills and around towards Manio, things are looking pretty good. A low risk today, up towards the eastern shore a little bit as well, heading into Delaware. But for the most part, I don't think many people will be going into the ocean anyway today, because it's still in the upper 50s and lower 60s. But just in case you are, you have that chance. All right, we also have the chance for some storms later today here in Hampton Roads, which we're going to talk about in just a couple of minutes. But first, we're going to switch gears now. We have some exciting stuff going on in the world of aerospace technology. A new space probe launched into Earth's orbit, but it's not to study the stars. It's a new biomass space probe, radar scanner from the European Space Agency. While in orbit, a radar scanner will be attached to the probe to collect data on the densest rainforest on Earth across Africa, Asia, and South America. The scanner will gather insights on carbon storage in those forests to measure the effects of deforestation and climate change. The project manager says this mission is vital to understand the health of the Earth.
We care about the forest. The forest is the lung of our planet. And what we are particularly interested in is to get information on the flow of the carbon cycle flow. So what we want to measure is how much of the fossil fuel that is burned and produces CO2, how much of that goes into the forests and stays there and is captured. And we do several maps over the years in order to see the changes. That is the main goal of the mission.
The biomass probe is designed to measure carbon levels accurately, even through dense forest canopies. According to the biomass project manager, Earth's forests draw in approximately 8 billion tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere annually. But he says deforestation and degradation, especially in tropical regions, is resulting in the release of this stored carbon back into the atmosphere.
The forests are under threat. We need these data, and everybody also now knows and hears basically daily in the news the threat of climate change to human mankind. So that all will provide data to combat, to provide information for politicians to take decisions. So it's absolutely timely to do it now.
The biomass satellite launched successfully yesterday morning from Europe's spaceport in French Guiana. And in China, 3 Chinese astronauts just returned to Earth after 6 months on China's space station. The crew's landing module came down slowly in Inner Mongolia, China, in the edge of the Gobi Desert. Their return had been delayed by a day due to strong winds and low visibility. The astronauts turned over control of the space station Tuesday to the new crew that recently arrived to replace them. The rocket that brought the new crew also carried equipment for space life sciences, microgravity physics, and new technology for China's space station. Definitely some cool stuff there. But back here on Earth in Hampton Roads, if you're heading out this weekend, you're doing some cool traveling things. You're heading to D.C., Richmond, Charlottesville, maybe the Outer Banks. May run into a few showers and thunderstorms. Outer Banks may be looking a little bit better on Saturday, but from D.C. into Richmond, Charlottesville, that chance to see some isolated to scattered storms really throughout the weekend. A little less stormy on Sunday, but still a little bit rainy. But temperatures warm heading into Saturday, mid to lower 80s, 81 D.C., 86 in Richmond, 82 in Charlottesville, 80 in the Outer Banks, and less rainy and less stormy. So that could be the pick of the weekend if you are heading anywhere. Spring, so we have the Wine Fest here this weekend. Few lingering showers are possible as we head into our Saturday. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s, and showers again are possible on Sunday as well. So it's not looking like a major washout for the Wine Fest here, but you may want to bring an umbrella just in case you get caught under any of these showers. Out on the radar right now, things are looking pretty good. Seeing a few isolated sprinkles on the eastern shore, up into the northern neck as well, and off towards Lynchburg. But if you are heading out, things aren't looking too bad. Satellite and radar again, seeing a few clouds, but otherwise, we're fine for now. But our rain chances do go up later this afternoon. Not a big chance, but 20, 30, 40% chance of seeing some showers and thunderstorms later this afternoon, and a chance for a severe storm as well. You want to keep that in mind. Rain chances go down heading into early Thursday morning, but then they come right back up heading into Thursday afternoon. And then once we get into Thursday night and Friday, things are looking a little bit better, even though on Friday, later in the day, maybe a chance for an isolated sprinkle. But the rain chances really go up on Saturday for some scattered showers as we head into the morning and afternoon, coming down a bit for Sunday, and then next Monday and Tuesday, we really start to dry out and start to see more of that sunshine. Here's a look at our futurecast over the next couple of hours. We'll see a good amount of sunshine throughout the day today. Temperatures will be nice and warm. We're already in the lower to mid 80s by noontime, mid to upper 80s by 2, 3 o'clock for some of us. 88 in Elizabeth City, 87 in Norfolk, 82 in Gloucester. Could see some heavier downpours later this afternoon. This is that line where we could see a chance for a strong to maybe even severe storm. So that's heading down to the state line around 4, 5 o'clock. continuing to push out by about 6. A few lingering showers possible 6, 7, 8 o'clock, and a few even into early Thursday morning. But by the time we wake up, maybe an isolated sprinkle down towards the Albemarle Sound. A mix of sun and clouds throughout Thursday afternoon. It's going to be warm. Upper 80s once again, pushing 90 degrees at a few areas. Isolated to scattered showers, especially further up towards the north heading into the afternoon. But for the most part on Thursday, things should be looking pretty good. And then those temperatures drop back into the mid to upper 60s by Friday morning. And then we have another chance to see some more showers heading into Friday afternoon. Not again looking like a washout, but some more isolated to scattered showers. And things are looking a little bit better heading into Friday evening. So future rainfall over the next couple of days, not a ton, maybe under 1/3 of an inch for Chesapeake, Franklin, not a ton in Ahoskie, Elizabeth City, just about 1/10 of an inch. West Point, you guys could see, kind of the bulk of the rain over the next couple of days, 1.5 inches possible, because we are going to see more of that rain, especially on Thursday, more up towards the north, while the rest of us will stay dry as we go throughout the day on Thursday. Next 48 hours at Norfolk International, again, not a whole bunch, seeing anywhere from 0.05 inches to maybe 1/4 of an inch, according to the GFS. So not going to be seeing washouts over the next couple of days. But as we get into our Sunday, we're kind of having mixed signals on whether we're going to be having some rain. The GFS model is saying that's going to be moving out early Sunday morning or next front, while the European model is saying Sunday at noon isn't looking great, and we're going to see some isolated to scattered showers. So this is just something to watch over the next couple of days, especially if you have plans on Sunday afternoon. Right now, temperatures are looking good. We're in the upper 60s to lower 70s. It's 70 in Virginia Beach, and throughout the day today, warm, mid to upper 80s, 86 in Norfolk, 88 in Suffolk, 78 in Cape Charles today, 86 in Gloucester, 86 degrees in Hampton, upper 80s pushing 90 degrees in Hertford today, 88 in Edenton, 87 in Currituck, and even low 80s closer to the Outer Banks. Tonight, 66 degrees. Chance for a few isolated showers and storms later this evening. And tomorrow, another warm day. Chance for an isolated shower or storm, especially the further north you go. But overall, I think most of us should stay dry. Partly sunny skies and 4-hour, 7-day forecast. Warm the next couple of days, but our rain chances 20, 30, 40% as we go throughout the next couple of days. So keep that in mind if you are heading out the door, especially on Saturday. We have a chance to see some of those showers and storms lingering into Sunday as well. But for next Monday and Tuesday, things are looking pretty good. We're in the mid to upper 70s with a good amount of sunshine. Of course, you can find me on social media, meteorologist Hunter Forst on Facebook and Instagram, Hunter Forst, HUNNERFORST. I appreciate you guys joining me today. Again, we have that chance for severe weather later here in Hampton Roads, but we'll be back again tomorrow to continue talking about the weather topics that are going on throughout the United States. Thanks again for joining. We'll be back again tomorrow at 9 o'clock.